I know how to use one of these things.
I don't know what it is.
Are they Asian? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Winston, of course, was oblivious.
Who are you gonna call?
People like it.
Deemed offensive.
Good flow.
It's Wakanda.
The nether regions.
Like, it makes my throat real hot. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
So, what are you gonna do?
This is like geography for dummies.
Hey, how about we start?
No, you can't say that anymore.
Welcome to the XYZ podcast. I'm millennial producer Tony. Joining me are our hosts, Gen X Brian.
Hello, everybody.
And Gen Z Winston.
What it do?
I almost did what Winston did last time, and
Take a drink.
Yeah, taking a drink as you're doing the intro, just so we can have a long, awkward pause. If we can't see who's
Brian
going
had
over.
to do a quick
Linger
shot.
on my name longer this time.
It's not fair.
Producer of millennials. Not
Yeah.
really. Producer of none children.
None children.
Children? What's
So
that?
far. No.
Oh.
Tony's children have
God.
grown up to be nuns.
No children and 10 money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, right? That's how you live
It's
life.
a Simpsons
Um,
reference.
Oh, I have 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money?
What are you drinking though, Brian? What kind of
Bourbon. We've got tonight on tap a special find, the Kirkland brand Costco bourbon. It's
I've
so
heard good things about it.
This is the single barrel. It is, yeah, I didn't realize this. And then I was reading some article about like them trying to figure out what the Kirkland brands are. Who produces the Kirkland brands of liquor in the Costco liquor store?
Oh,
Yeah,
Mr.
Kirkland.
Sidney Kirkland, yeah.
Right. Right. Yes,
the
world
Kirkland
renowned.
family?
Yes.
But
And I was just curious because we've found out that the bourbon tends to be fairly sought after because they have like a single barrel and then they
Oh.
have like a blend, which is, and I've gotten them both and they're both under $30 and they're really, really good. But
Mhm.
it's one of those things that they show up occasionally. It's not a
Mm.
regular item. Like you can go in there and buy, like a 10-gallon thing of vodka almost every time. The same brands, but the bourbon only shows up occasionally.
Oh.
So I've got discount liquor.
takes longer to distill. You can't have that all the time.
Mhm.
Right.
Vodka pretty easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
What
But
about you,
any-
Tony? What are you drinking?
I've got some Fuji apple sake
Right.
that I discovered, of course, at Disney World.
Does it taste appley?
It is super appley. It's like biting an apple.
Yeah.
Apple.
Did you
Yeah.
have it at the Food and Wine Festival?
I did.
Yeah.
Is that
the
is not a
Japan
wine,
Pavilion
but
at
that's-
Epcot. Yeah.
Okay, well, I suppose that's part of, I mean, that's the time to try new drinks, right?
I thought about it. Whenever I'd gotten it in a traditional sake cup, which is like a square wooden
Oh.
box
Yeah.
that when you buy it, they write your name in Japanese on it. So it's a
Oh, that's sick.
personalized, which I can now read and confirm that yes, it is my name.
It is not Egg Foo Young. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you, Duolingo.
So
how do you pronounce your name in Japanese? Tony-kun.
Nope, the same way you pronounce it in English. It's
Oh,
nice and
funny.
easy, which is Tony.
Tony the
That's
Asian
funny.
guy.
Yeah.
So Tony the Asian guy and Disney enthusiast.
I'm not put no hold on. I'm gonna take half of that title.
Okay.
Right.
Being a Disney enthusiast, have you seen people embarking on the drinking around the world at Epcot?
I don't like it.
Have you seen
I
it?
don't.
though?
I've seen it
Okay.
Why don't you like it though?
because it's a family place. And people nowadays, if you've not seen any of the just disregard for rules of society in general,
Mhm.
I dislike it infinitely more there because it's a place that I go to get away and it's like I don't know anybody here and nobody knows me. And if I want to go have a conversation with Aladdin, I can do
Mhm.
that and no one's looking at me funny.
Right.
I can suspend disbelief. I know this is a man doing his job. I know it's a 17-year-old guy who's getting paid
Mm.
close to nothing.
Yeah.
But if I want to have a couple moments of pretend time,
A
Then
pub crawler should not be thrown in the middle of it, right?
Right.
it's the people just don't plan well and misbehave. Epcot is by far my favorite park, and it's just becomes filled with sloppy drunks, and you have to, people are belligerent and they're cussing, and there's children around, and then security has to come, and then they're
It's a whole
loud
thing.
and they fight back. Yeah, it's just like this is not what I came here for.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of other places in Orlando if you
Yeah.
want to go get drunk.
Right.
Go there.
Yeah, Church Street, go downtown. No, that's I had to ask because when I worked there, you'd often hear that, but nobody I knew actually you didn't see it happening in practice, and nobody I knew whoever said it ever said they did it. It was always like an idea thrown out. And I think the couple times I went, I personally couldn't afford to drink around the world.
Right. It's expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, man, your first stop, okay, that's $24. Well, shoot, I don't have a whole lot left for
It's funny you said that. Like, I remember when me and my friends went to Epcot and like we were all like, oh, let's drink around the world. I didn't care about it that much, but I remember like a lot of my friends were just saying it, and I'm like, you people are like the worst type of people to try to attempt it. They're all weak. They can't handle their liquor. They can't handle their
I think the
alcohol.
idea is interesting, where it's like, all right, well, let's try stuff. So if you've got a group of people and you're all piling in money wise, that's helpful. And then everybody gets a couple sips out of whatever you get. That's great. That's the way to do it.
I don't think anybody plans it like that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I
No, no, no.
remember we went to Epcot. We got in, did like the little Nemo ride, whatever, and then we got to like all the country stuff, and we just immediately all touched down at the England place and just ate fish and chips, and then that was it.
Yorkshire fish and chips is some of the best fish and chips that I've ever had in my life.
Literally, yeah. I can't say I've eaten enough fish and chips to say like it's the best place, but it was good. I like it. Speaking of like people being drunk and obnoxious at Disney, I have a story.
So when I went to Disney, I got hammered.
Let me tell you what happened.
It was me.
Yeah. No. I was it might have been Magic Kingdom. I want to say that they were a little tipsy, or they were, drinking at least. But like they were just dickheads to me and my friends for no reason on like a children's ride. It was
just random guests of the park.
Yeah. We were all waiting in line, and like, Tony, you can tell me which ride this is. It's on the far right side, and it's one of those kiddie coaster, and it's like it's near like man, I don't know.
It's like a game show, man. If you had better question, we could put on
right.
game
That's
show
what I'm
music,
saying.
Was there any theming to it? Can you I can name you kiddie coasters, but Goofy's Barnstormer is in the Magic Kingdom.
That's it. That's the one. It's it's like the plane looking one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Oh,
back
shit,
there,
man. What the fuck?
back in the circus area, right?
Yes. That's exactly.
Called it. Look at me.
Oh, Jesus
Area
Christ.
formerly known as Toontown.
He got it off of the hint that it was on the far right side of the park.
Yep,
That's
there
it.
you go.
It's in the back of the park, but I was following you anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, Tony.
Anyway,
Tony's The Price is Right.
No,
Yeah.
literally. But yeah, so we got to like the little platform to get ready to get on our ride. The people, like the employees, would come up to us and was like, "Hey, like since you guys are a big group, we're gonna go ahead and let you get on the next one so that you guys can all fill it out. Instead of just letting have your group go on this, train-ish, whatever they call it." And so we're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. So this family behind us, they were like 4 or 5 people, and so they're like, okay, well, you guys can go on ahead. And so they stood in front of us, got on the carts. What's the proper term? Is it carts? No,
The roller coaster
rides?
car.
Yeah, car. Yeah, they got in it, and then they were getting ready to let everyone go, and they're like, there was one car that was still empty, and they're like, why don't you guys just go? And we're like, oh no, we're gonna stay and wait for the next one since we're riding as a group. And so it was like these 2 older people, and they were just like, well, what the fuck? Like, why don't you just go? Like, this is our family here, or whatever.
Are these people behind you, or are these people seated about ready to leave on the ride?
Half of them were seated. The other half was we're still standing on the platform.
Oh.
And so they were just kind of bickering at us for no reason. We're like, dude, like, we're just gonna wait for the next one. If you want to go, you can go. And like they kind of like threw a tantrum for no reason. So we're like, what the shit, right?
I've
Anyway.
never heard of anybody in front of you in line complaining
being
about
mad.
the people behind you not being on the ride.
Yeah, like
That's
we're just like,
wild.
what? Yeah. And so we got on the ride, rode it, whatever, got off, and then they got off after us. And as we're walking out, like we can just hear them talking shit about us. Like one of the guy was just kind of slurring his speech the whole time while he was cursing us out. And like I was hard tempted to turn around and just like check them on it, but I'm like, I like Disney. I like going back here.
I'm in the happiest place on earth.
Yeah, and I don't want to be put on like whatever the equivalent of no-fly list is for the mouse,
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna let them be.
Where were these folks from? What part of the United States do you think they hailed
I
from?
don't know. They were from the Mountain of Caucasus. I'll tell you that. They were called Asian, as I call them. But
Called Asian?
yeah,
Caucasians are called
yeah,
Asians?
yeah, called Asian, Caucasians. Yeah. But yeah, they were just kind of like being dicks and talking shits the whole time. And we're like, dude, we're like freaking 19, 20-year-old, dude. Like, why are you on our ass for this?
So you're not stopping them from riding the ride.
Exactly.
They're in
That's the
front of
worst
you.
part.
It's just
Yeah.
like, just enjoy yourself and move on.
Yeah,
Can
like
you get alcohol in all the parks now, right?
yeah, I was
or
gonna
can you
say
kill them
And
at-
Magic Kingdom is where I'm suspicious of this story because it's
They packed a flask, maybe.
yeah, it has to be, right?
I don't know. I think there's a couple sit down restaurants that you can get booze at in Magic Kingdom, but unlike the other parks, it's not as easily accessible there.
Right. It's probably just the California sun. I mean, the Florida sun that was cooking them.
It
brain
could.
rotting. Yeah.
Does, man.
You get
Hey,
to
didn't
the afternoon in that sun, people get grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
I didn't
But,
mean to turn this into a Disney travel podcast, but
we should
the
get
sake
paid for
from
that.
I don't think we're alone. Tony could probably tell us. There's probably hundreds of Disney park podcasts, aren't there?
There is a ton of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry,
not
Winston, man. That
original,
market's
though.
already been
Damn.
conquered. We're late to the game.
You
Not
go
that,
to the
not that any
podcast
of us
market,
are
throw a
there.
rock, and hit one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Oh.
you guys
yeah.
have been there more recently than I have. Tony goes with frequency, but the house of the mouse.
Well,
House
let
of the
me
Mouse, yeah.
let me talk about something that I wanted to bring up.
Oh wait, before you do that, I do have a proposition for both of you guys.
Okay.
Okay, so I know we've talked about
Propositioning us?
yes, we've talked about melting pot, right? So
Yes.
I brought the idea up to my girlfriend. I said, "Hey, I want to go to melting pot for the podcast. Would you be down for it?" She said, "Yes." I asked if it's okay if we go for Valentine's Day. She said no. She liked to be wine and dine. So I'm
That's
like,
fine.
"Oh, that's
Okay.
understandable,
That's
right?"
fair. That's
All
fair.
right.
But the counter is, she tells me, she said, "Well, if you're doing a melting pot, right? Why don't afterward you guys just go get K barbecue together so Brian can experience it for the first time?" So my proposition is, if I go to the melting pot, you guys are gonna have to pick a day and we will all go to K barbecue together.
Are you cooking?
After the melting pot?
I'll cook. Yeah, I can cook.
As long as
no.
someone else is cooking.
Yeah, I can cook, but that would not the same day, but I will go to a melting pot one day, go back, report it, and then we'll go to
A different day.
And then report what it's like.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I
that's
can
fair.
cook. I'm willing to cook, and it will be fun.
Podcast field trip. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we down for that then?
So I do appreciate the fact that she's like, if you're gonna make me try your silly ass American restaurants,
What white
fried
people
dip
hot
bread
pot.
and cheese, you guys gotta go try some K barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That sounds
Okay,
like
that's cool. All right, sound good. Okay, now you can continue.
I'm
with
I'm
your-
just still surprised that the melting pot's even open. Again, I didn't even
I
realize
know.
that was. I thought that was like a
Apparently
relic
it's
of the
popular,
90s.
man. Like people likes to play. I guess we just hate it. I've
I don't
hated
hate
even-
it. It's just I went there. I found one time to go there in my life, and it was like that was enough. That was
Yep,
fine.
And you know
quota-
what's funny?
Quota
You-
filled.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's the funniest part is every person I've talked to about melting pot, because I've been asking around, and like
Informal
I asked
surveys.
you guys know our buddy Joel. I asked Joel, I'm like, you ever been to the melting pot? He said, I've been to the melting pot twice in my life, and one
How
of
many
them
times?
was twice. Twice.
Got him! Damn it! Got him! I finally did it! Yeah!
Tony got him. All right.
The tables have turned, sir.
Oh, that's good. That's so good. But yeah, he've only been there 2 times. And, but yeah, one time was with. So he told me the story. He was like, yeah, I think he said he went with his now wife. It was a Super Bowl Sunday, and they were supposed to go on a date night together, but all of the bars and restaurants are closed or only hosting like Super Bowl parties. So they're like, well, there's no other place open right now. And then just so happened a melting pot was open, and that's where they went for one of their dates. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Strictly on accident, basically.
Yeah.
It was selected for availability.
I think that's
only.
the way to like go into like a melting pot, right? Is like you stumble your way in there, not
Holy
so
crap,
much.
I didn't realize we were going to be cooking our own food tonight. I hope I'm prepared.
That's a true test for like a relationship, right? Like it's just like,
Mhm.
can you cook?
Yeah, road trips and melting pots. Like there
Yeah,
you go, man.
Exactly. But yeah, anyway, so that was just a funny side story. But yeah, everyone I've talked to seemed like they've only been to a melting pot less than 3 times.
I wonder if
Oh.
the market research, like sales research, like who's our audience? Well, we don't know. Nobody comes back. It looks like a lot of people are on dates, so I'm just gonna assume these relationships didn't work out.
Exactly.
They don't come back to the melting pot for their anniversary. Then.
Well,
yeah.
let's
Under.
turn to something else that was mentioned to me and Winston that Winston had no idea about,
Oh yeah,
and I
Oh.
said I would bring up, which are POGs.
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 We have gone from restaurants to 90s games. I
Pause.
guess that would be
Toys,
Pause.
games,
Hold on. Time
Pogs.
out. Time
No,
out.
not pause. Pogs.
Okay, right, but time out, right?
Okay.
When you say POG,
POGS.
POGS, POG.
Yes. Pogs.
I'm thinking PAWG.
No.
something entirely
That is
something
a very
entirely
That's
different.
why I'm like,
POG is
Ah.
the name of the brand or
Say
the
it like you're from
company.
the Midwest. Pogs.
POG.
Pogs.
Yeah, shout out Kate. Whenever you're listening to this episode,
She said, I feel that there's not enough open discussion about the night. Okay, Tony, give us a definition.
Yeah, right.
For those who were not alive for that, I don't know, a
So
handful of
yes.
5-6 years that this was relevant.
This is another thing that I have excess information of for no good reason.
Right.
Um,
After this, I'll be filling you in on the mini disc format that was around from 19. Yeah. Anyway.
Does anybody remember when they had toothbrushes that as you'd brush your teeth, it would play a song through
Mhm.
like through
What?
your bones in your head?
that's
Yeah.
freaking sick, man.
Yeah. What was
nuts.
it called?
Brush tunes or something. I don't know.
See,
Look that
that
up. We
was
gotta get
the America that was sold to me as a dream, not this one, man. This sucks. I gotta cook my own food at K Barbecue. I gotta brush with boring ass toothbrush.
My
Tooth
toothbrush doesn't
tunes.
sing.
Tooth tunes.
Tooth
Yes.
tunes.
Like what the shit? Where's that at?
Again, it was a very mid
I don't
two
think
thousands.
I was gonna say
It's-
because my children actually, I remember, I only know of those because I think we bought them for our kids, and the whole thing was it's like a little 2-minute mix of the song. You can hear the latest
Mhm.
jam by Ashley Tisdale or whatever.
That's
hilarious. And it was 2 minutes, and so that was the whole concept of like, okay, you're brushing you brush for the duration of the song, you brush your teeth for 2 minutes.
How does that technology work though? Like what's
It's a
how-
tiny MP3 player shoved in the end of your toothbrush.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
really-
so it's not basing off of when you're brushing it. It's
Well,
just
you have to press a button. You press the button, and the song starts, and you start
and-
brushing.
Oh, okay.
But then I don't know if
yeah.
there's, tooth tunes.
Wow.
They
Man.
should be able. They should bring it back, but make it an MP3, and we could load our own songs. Into
Yeah.
it.
That would be
Hey,
great.
dental
right?
hygiene would skyrocket. You're like,
No,
man, I brushed my
literally.
teeth for like 10 minutes. I was jamming.
I was listening.
Yeah.
I was
I
listening to
had
Hotel
Stairway to
California.
Heaven on, and then I fell asleep brushing my teeth. I didn't know when to stop.
Oh, man. Yeah, your gums are bleeding. I'm sorry. I had to hear Hotel California twice. It was so good. That guitar solo at the end, man. I was going to town.
Anyways,
But,
I'm gonna loop myself back here.
I
So-
like the tooth too. I think
Yeah.
I saw that somewhere in the stratosphere of something recently because I remember laughing at that. That's one of those things that never would have thought of, and then you see a picture of it and you're like, oh yeah, that was relevant. Kind of like Pogs, except earlier.
Okay,
Right?
So back to Pogs.
So let me
POG.
go back to our favorite game,
Yeah.
Winston. What are POGs? What do you think they might be?
I've given him some hints. We've given him the
Pog
correct
is
spelling.
that's where the original term for poggers come from, right? That's poggers, dude. Like
What's a
no?
poggers? What does that
No.
mean?
Oh, jeez, man.
Are we going on another side tangent?
What,
Uh,
poggers is a word?
Yes,
That sounds like
poggers
a
is
group of
word.
fat people.
No,
Don't go
no,
near that group
no.
of poggers over there. That just sounds like
No, poggers. So it says here is used in response for something that is considered cool or exciting.
poggers, really?
Yeah, similar to saying something like "I agree" or "I'm with you."
Yeah, or cool
So,
beans or awesome sauce. That's
Variation.
Pretty much.
that's how lame that word sounds.
My favorite use of poggers from the internet that I've seen is when a girl send her boyfriend nudes and he respond with poggers.
So apparently it's a variation of the word POG, also
Yeah.
POG, which is short for PogChamp, which is a Twitch emote.
Yeah, but it was.
So
I think it was
for
removed,
I would
right?
say I'm not sure the demographic, but I'll go with 51% of the people had no idea. I'm in that 51% of what you just said. That's
it was a made up. It was a made up words.
Twitch. What is it? What did you say?
PogChamp.
A what?
PogChamp was the
PogChamp.
word, but a
But it
Twitch
was a-
emote. So it's like
A Twitch emote.
It's an emoji that you would have used in a Twitch chat.
A Twitch emote. What's a Twitch emote?
What is a Twitch?
What's
What
a-
is a PogChamp?
What is a pog chat?
W
Oh
in
my
chat?
goodness.
What is
dude.
that?
back to the Pogs that I'm familiar with.
Okay, hang on. So now I needed to. Yeah, so I know what Twitch is. Twitch is a
streaming platform.
Where people say, "Hey, watch me play a video game," because you have nothing else to do.
Well,
they might leave that second part
other
off.
live
it's
streams.
fun. Yeah, it's sort of like it's the idea that like you go over to a friend's house and your friend is playing the game and you're kind of watching.
Right,
it.
and
That's the idea.
sometimes those friends are a bathtub full of girls in bikinis. Right? Wasn't that a thing? Like that's
it was until they remodeled their guidelines or whatever. So now they
it could be something as innocuous as, hey, there's an artist that you're gonna go watch them draw things.
Yeah,
it's not always video games.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or
So
just
I'm
people
just
just
telling you.
chatting, too.
Yeah, my understanding of Twitch is what I've gleaned from news stories.
I'll add this one last thing before we move back to Pog. But there's on Twitch and all these streaming sites, there's just a genre called just chatting where people are kind of just there talking to the viewers and the people in the chat or whatever. But there's an interesting thing I saw on the internet the other day that says, so one of the popular saying that these streamer would say is they would interact with their chat, but they would call them chat. So it's like, chat, is this real? Chat, did you clip that? Chat, did you see that? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
so referencing so the people watching know that they're responding to the chat. That makes sense.
Right. So there's this thing that I saw the other day that said chat might now be considered the first time ever a fourth person view. There's first person, second person, third person, and chat might just be the fourth person view. Because people could just, I know I do, in the regular life, I would do something and I'll be like, chat, did you see that? Or like, chat, is this real? That's like a joke, but like people do use that outside of like Twitch streaming and live streaming and all that.
Really? So if I hear somebody throw that out there, I will know
kids mostly, like
nerds.
Gen Z, yeah.
That would still be considered third person.
Yes, I suppose, but it's
third
just
person used by a fourth person.
Yeah,
well,
I
it's
mean,
like it might be like fourth wall,
yeah,
but it's still third person view.
Right. But I think it's the discrepancy between the screen, like, oh, this person is here and this person is not, is on the other side of the screen. That's why it's becoming a fourth person view.
But that doesn't make that doesn't have anything to do with that. First person is if you're reading a book, let's say, it's
many minutes later.
Chat, which is the group that's watching. It's
now
just
let's
naming
discuss
the
chat.
group.
Is this real chat? Chat, is
I
he
want
right?
to make sure the pronouns are clear. What's chat's pronouns? That's what I need to know,
Just
Winston.
chat.
Them.
Yeah,
It's a group.
Yeah, it's technically them. Yeah.
They.
Anyway, back to Pogs.
So
Finally,
ironically, I started this to try and clarify about Twitch, and instead we got a first person, second person, third person grammar
Let me explain the
lesson.
literature.
yeah.
And now,
Anyway,
Pogs.
back to Pogs.
So yeah,
Poggers.
Pogs were right in my wheelhouse as a millennial. In grade school, absolutely hit at the right time for me. So Pogs.
Wasn't Winston going to guess what they are?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they like blind picking stuff? Is that how that works?
They could be.
So you pick the good stuff, and you leave the bad stuff behind?
No, Pogs was a game / toy / collectible.
Okay.
I'll start back, move forward, and then go further back. How about that? We're
Okay.
gonna Tarantino it.
Pogs. Oh,
We're gonna
Tarantino
Tarantino
it.
it.
You gotcha.
Okay.
So
This story does not contain a gimp.
Yeah.
back, nope, not on this one.
Thank
I
God.
could work
Yeah.
one in if you want me to.
Any feet though? Can we get some feet in it?
Listen, I will get everyone's requests. Back when
That's how we monetize
milk,
the podcast, man.
this seems way off course, but back when milk came in glass bottles and you actually got milk dropped off by a milkman, to keep the milk fresh, you had milk caps. They were these little cardboard circular token discs that were on the top to make sure things didn't fall in and things, kept your milk kind of fresh. There was a company in Hawaii that the teacher was noticing that kids in the classroom were collecting these milk caps and were playing this game with them. So she made more official rules for this game, and then it got very popular
In Hawaii?
and then it spread. What Pogs became were little pieces of circular cardboard that had anything on it that you could possibly think of. If you wanted feet, you wanted a gimp Pog, you could have one. And it was to the point where they would make Pog makers. So you could take a picture from a magazine and a cardboard blank and make your own Pog with whatever you
Good
wanted on
grief.
it.
So yeah,
That's
what
pretty
year
cool.
do we have a Pog year? Because I remember seeing this, but I was way past the age to care about collecting them or playing the game. But I do remember them being like a very prominent part of the national conversation for a while.
So is Pog kind of like Pokemon's?
That's how I always saw it. Yeah,
Well,
because you collected them.
The game of milk caps started back in the 20s and 30s.
The Game of Thrones, the game of milk caps.
It didn't get nationally popular until the 90s, but the way you played was you take a stack of Pogs, and usually you play against somebody else. Usually you take
It's like poker chips.
half of
You got your
yours
stacks.
Yeah.
and half of somebody else's.
Okay.
The big thing was if you're playing for keeps or not.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So
High stakes game.
I had Pogs that had stuff that I liked on them, and you'd have yours. You'd shuffle them together. You put them in a stack all face up.
Yeah.
Then you had what was called a slammer,
Okay.
which was a heavy circular disc made out of plastic or metal or something. You would take your slammer and you'd throw it at the top of the stack,
Mhm.
and anything that flipped over, that was yours.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
so it was gambling.
Not really, but I guess kind of.
But you're playing with your chips, and if they get taken, you don't
depends
have
on if
them
you're playing
anymore.
for keeps or not.
Oh, right, playing for keeps.
So, we're
Holy
old
shit!
school.
I've played something that's similar to Pogs before.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
Vietnamese
like
Pogs?
yeah, basically, but it wasn't Pogs. It was never considered Pogs. So in Vietnam, when we were kids, we would have Pokemon cards and
Yep.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and that's what we use as our Pogs. But we don't use like a metal disc slammer or whatever. It just we would then bend the card and then hold it a certain way. So when you throw it down, if it flips over, you get to keep it, and that's yours.
This sounds
So-
similar to the paper game played in Squid Games.
Yeah, similar, but that's you get slapped for those, right?
Right.
But you're not throwing it on top of each other's cards. It's more like, okay, we're gonna put these 3 cards down. We're gonna both take turns. Once you throw it down and it flips over, those are yours.
Right.
And then say if those were my cards that were taken away, then the other person will put their cards down and I can flip it. And if I can flip it, I'll keep it. And then that's my stack of cards.
All
Okay.
of these sounds
Yeah.
just like variations of this is gambling.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah, because I got to keep it. We were playing for keeps.
Yeah, playing for keeps, man.
Yeah.
I never got involved in any of that. It sounds kind of fun. I feel like I might have missed out.
let me
Youth gambling.
let me bring this back around, weirdly enough, to Disney.
Oh god, the mouse was playing Pogs.
Disney fans will know there is a well-known favorite beverage served at a few restaurants on Disney property at breakfast time that consist of passion fruit, orange, and guava juice, known as Pog juice. The connection is the Hawaiian dairy that started this game makes Pog juice. That's why the game is called Pog.
Oh,
It is named after the juice that they are famous for that most people associate with Disney. But that's where the 90s game got its name from.
That's
pretty cool.
interesting. And so I can take that into modern day. There is a beer made from the Scofflaw Brewery in Atlanta that is Pog. It stands for the passion fruit, orange juice, and guava. And it's like the Pog IPA.
It's I've never had the beer. Pog juice, delicious.
I have had Pog juice.
So it's passion fruit, orange,
And
guava?
guava.
It's,
Yeah.
it's something that if you go to your local grocery store, you can buy all of those ingredients. It's equal parts, all 3 of those. You can make it at home. I
Yeah,
do fairly often.
that sounds.
If we have people over that are spending the night, we will often go make Pog juice for breakfast in the morning. Yeah.
Ah.
That sounds so like we went to the swamps and dredged it up. The Pog juice. We have a carafe of Pog juice.
Well, there was a concern a few years ago that during the pandemic that they said they were going to stop making it, and people were going nuts because they're like, "Well, what are we gonna drink when we're at breakfast at Disney World? What's going to happen?" And then
They're like Disney World's
Darius
our
like-
only customer. We're not made. They're
No,
closed.
literally.
How long did Disney close? Not to keep tying this back there, but how long during the pandemic?
It was a good.
Well, I guess
few
the pandemic.
months.
I guess the furlough era or the lockdown, whatever we want to call it here.
It was a good while.
Yeah, I didn't have any interest in Disney yet at that time, so like that was outside my sphere for sure.
Right. That's why I'm asking the Disney expert.
Right, exactly.
How long was the parks closed? Long enough to threaten the supply of Pog juice being manufactured.
Nearly 4 months after it closed originally for the coronavirus.
But for Disney adults, that's 4 years.
It's,
Yeah,
for
so
locals
Disney
who
adult
go
years is.
often, yeah, it's a long
Yeah.
time.
No, but that's cool though. I want to try Pog juice one of these days. That sounds super poggers.
I will make it for you.
You'll be a real Pog champ if you make that for me, Tony.
Nice.
Winston, we're working in the lingo like he was there playing. Well, I guess you kind of were with the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, we have
is that
lingo
real?
that you promised us that I've been seeing. I've specifically not looked up. You were going to explain to us, and now my mind's going blank.
Holy shit. Hold on. I think I wrote it down. Hold on.
Goon?
Gooning.
Gooning!
Yes,
God
yes.
damn it!
From the trap.
No. Oh
trap.
god, I hate it. I hate
Not-
it. I hate
not
that I even brought
Goonies.
it up.
Not
I
the
hate that I brought it
movie
up.
Goonies.
It's I've been seeing it. I've specifically not went looking because you said wait for here,
It's
Let me-
and
okay.
I've waited.
Let me just say this though, that this is funny because usually usually Tony's in the position where I am. I'm like, I heard this word and like, oh geez, and I suddenly had to like go and try and Urban Dictionary it. But that's normally me. But now it's Tony, so that means that Tony is getting the millennial is getting old.
I'm old!
Yes, you're getting old. You don't know what this. We are both asking the young Gen Z what the slang word means.
Listen,
Okay.
everybody has got to hear a word for the first time. Sometime.
Poggers. So the word is goon. Where did you hear it? Before Winston answers, I need to ask some questions. Where did you hear it, or how did you see it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to say again, the easy answer is probably TikTok is where I first saw it.
Okay, and in what context? Could you?
I don't
you
know.
could you?
I
Okay, you
don't
couldn't
know.
figure it out by context. That's usually that's my best option. You
I
know,
was
like-
Winston's giggling.
Okay.
I have a feeling
I'm-
it's
no, I'm-
not
I'm-
appropriate.
I'm
but
regretting that I'm bringing it up. That I even
It's
tell
too
you guys
late.
about
It's too-
Gooning.
it's too. I've drug us into the mud by asking, and
I
now
mean,
we
it's-
need to know.
Tony's been on
Okay.
the internet again, hitting the internet a little too hard.
Okay, so this is the section where Brian's wife would call it it's getting real penisy up in here.
Okay. Well,
So that's
I
you
figured
right now.
this was the realm
Right.
of the word. Yeah.
I would have never guessed that goon.
So, yeah.
Because like goon, like stop being a goon. It's like a
Yeah,
clown. Like
exactly.
Goon, based on the little bit of information that I gleaned from the video,
Yeah.
it made me feel like it's like adjacent to bimbo.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's just
There's an
it's a
adjacent
trash.
word for
It's
it, but
trashy.
It's not. It's not.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what the adjacent word for it is. It's edging. It's gooning is essentially just edging, but I think it became a terms for Gen Z to use. It says here, gooning may be mostly defined as the state usually achieved after prolonged. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading.
This got real clinical. This went from being
Yeah.
funny to a medical.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
dictionary.
So now I'm really wondering what video you saw, Tony. That
I don't
references
listen. I
this.
don't know.
I'm just scrolling, I don't know
It kind of becomes like a thing that people say for shits and giggles more than like being serious. It's like you can't say edging. That just seemed derogatory. Like it's
okay. So
gross.
I did say it was dirty, but I guess it's trying
Yeah,
to be
but it's
not
more
dirty.
like a meme word, if anything. Like,
Okay.
right.
yeah.
Okay. So this is another one of those. What I find to be at least a personally fascinating discovery. Probably not a discovery
Right.
for most people.
Yeah.
That there are words that only or mostly exist online. Nobody's actually saying this. This is just through
Oh,
the internet that
No,
we're
kids
hearing.
are
used.
saying it in person. No,
Yeah?
they're dumb. They're dumb. They'll say it in person.
All right. This is not one I will be asking my children about.
Yeah, do not. This is an
Lizzie's was bad
example.
enough.
This is an example from Urban Dictionary. After smoking a huge bowl, Andy looked forward to the hours of gooning that follows. But
The end of civilization creeps near.
but what makes it a lot funnier is apparently gooning and edging are two different words. So like kids are using it in memes. Like my favorite one is from the scene from the movie Whiplash where he goes, "Now were you dragging or were you what was it? Was it dragging or
Rushing ahead of the
rushing?"
tempo?
Yeah, that's right. They're like, "Are you dragging or are you
Wow.
rushing?" So it goes, "Are you gooning or are you edging?" Now, were you gooning or were you edging? And that's my favorite meme. But yeah, it's gross. It's just a gross word in general. But all of the instances I've seen it been used has been like as a comedic reason rather than
Right,
like
right.
a
So
horny
this okay.
person.
So there's
Yeah.
like another category.
Yeah.
Words that are only used but only in jokey context. Nobody's actually using this seriously. It's used to make a funny point.
Right. And what's even funnier is like Oh, a person who goon is considered a Goonies.
Right. So I'm going to assume that I'm going to make two assumptions. I assume that A, you've heard of the movie Goonies from the 80s.
Yes, yes.
And B, you have not seen the movie Goonies from the 80s.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All
Is
right.
Goonies the one with Shia LaBeouf in it?
No,
No,
that's
that's
Holes.
Holes.
he
Is
was not
Goonies
even
the one with the Asian guy from Loki in it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Thanos, a very
Josh
young
Brolin?
very young Josh
Oh.
Brolin is in the Goonies. And then of course Corey, which Corey is? There's one of the Coreys that were the duo heartthrob of the 80s. You had Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
I was going to say Feldman, but
Feldman,
I'll double check us.
It's Feldman. Yes, it's absolutely Feldman.
But with that being
Yes.
said, I could officially take Gooning off of my list of things to talk about. I don't want to. I don't want to spend too much time on Gooning here.
No, you
I
actually
don't
had
want to goon
reluctance.
for an hour, guys.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to offend a lot of people. Winston, absolutely feel free to watch the Goonies.
Uh-huh.
If you don't, you're not missing anything. And people are going to be mad, and I don't care. It's not a movie that I watched growing up, so I had no nostalgia for it. I didn't watch it until I was probably in my 20s, and I went, meh.
I can agree with that opinion because as a kid, when that came out, when did Goonies come out?
Goonies came out in 1985.
1985. I was 11 years old. Watched that movie. It was the greatest movie ever. I went on that adventure with these kids. Like as an 11-year-old me, loved it. Watched it with my kids.
You
because
self-inserted into the group.
you just felt the excitement. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Oh, that's funny.
and so loving that movie as much as I did, my wife also same, loved it. And we watched it with her kids. The kids didn't hate it, which was nice, but I
didn't
saw
care for
at that point that it was not the same. It did not have the same effect and feeling that I did. So that's why I can understand Tony's opinion. I don't get offended because I think a lot of people's natural reaction would be like, "Shut up! You don't know you were talking about. That's one of the greatest movies ever made." But I can see that. I try and be reasonable, try to be understanding. And I'm like, okay, yeah, if it's not your nostalgia, then of course that movie doesn't really,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the cast here. I only know 3 names: Josh Brolin, Ke Huy Quan, and Sean Astin. That's it.
Oh yeah,
like,
Sean Astin's in that. Okay.
Yeah, he was Mikey. Yeah, don't know anyone else. Don't know who Jeff Cohen is. Don't know who Harry Green is. Don't know. Yeah, lots of names that I don't know. Have no idea what it's about. Not gonna bother watching it because it's.
It was okay. Have you watched the first Karate Kid movie?
Yes.
What did you think of that?
That was all right. It's corny.
fine.
I like the Jackie Chan one more.
They remade Karate Kid with Jackie Chan.
You never seen the new Karate Kid?
Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I did not watch that.
Jaden Smith went to China and learned Kung Fu. It's not Karate Kid. It was Kung Fu Kid, if anything. But
was it?
No. Was it real karate, Tony? I don't know my martial arts.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, he was learning something,
I
but
love
it
the
wasn't
fact the
karate.
Asian is deferring to Tony for the martial arts.
Yeah, but he watched stuff that and he was older when he watched it, so he probably had better comprehension than I did. But yeah, yes, Jackie Chan.
I do remember that. I guess I purged it from my memory. When did the original Karate Kid come out?
86.
Okay. There we go.
No,
86.
that's Karate Kid 2. 84.
Jeez, 84.
So yeah, I remember watching. So when that movie, then you had the theater, in 84, and then I believe probably came out on VHS by 85. I go to a friend's house and we'd watch that movie, and then we'd end up like kicking the crap out of each other like after the movie, like fake karate fighting. I remember that being like, that's what you did. We just watched Karate Kid. Now let's kick the crap out of each other, fake karate fighting.
I love the fact that they made more movies afterward and it just didn't pick up at all. Like the Karate Kid Part 2, Karate Kid Part 3, the next Karate Kid.
We got more Karate Kids.
Yeah, Karate Children's. But
that was another one that I don't know if I'd go back and watch if it's as good, but I love that as a kid. I was 10 years old. That was an awesome movie when I was 10.
No, yeah, I can totally get that. That's like me watching the Jaden Smith Karate Kid. I was his age when
was it awesome? Did you watch? I mean,
yeah, I thought it was cool. I just hated all the lesson that my dad tried to incorporate into it afterwards. But yeah,
did he kick your ass? Did he karate chop you?
No, he was annoying as hell because in the movie, Jaden Smith would get home from school and he's pissed off. He's getting real tired because people are bullying him. He's a black kid in China. Obviously, he's gonna get bullied, right? So he was upset. So he would take his jacket, he'd take his backpack off, and I would throw it on the floor and walk away. And then like I was a kid when I did that too. And obviously my dad was like, yeah, you remember in Karate Kid, remember what Jackie Chan said? Yeah, you're gonna put your stuff back on the coat hanger and all that. I'm like,
You're like, but Dad,
what
I'm
the
not
fuck?
black.
Like, yeah, but Dad, I'm not learning karate. You know, like
Nor
you're
am
not
I
Jackie
black.
Chan.
I was just gonna say, once you start making Jackie Chan money, then we can talk.
Exactly. Well, when you start teaching me some karate, then we can talk. Yeah. He's like, but it's about patience. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
what?
like I'm running out of patience from picking your shit up off the floor.
Exactly. Yeah. I just like a lot of time I hate watching movie with my dad because he just started like incorporating stuff from real life into it. I'm just like, come on, man. I just want to
Follow
watch the
lesson.
kid fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why like a lot of time I like as a kid I like going to watch movie that he doesn't care about. So just superhero movie. Because he'll go in there, buy tickets, buy the popcorn, we'll sit down, and that's just a 2-3 hour nap for him. And he's just like, just watch it, man. It's cool. I watched Iron Man 1 as an 8-year-old. There was a sex scene in there.
Your
you know?
dad slept through Iron Man? That new movie is loud.
Yeah, he didn't care. He was just tired. It was Vietnam. It was just real hot outside. You go indoors, all AC and it's dark. He's like, I'm gonna kick back and just sleep.
Man, I thought the first I liked all the first Iron Man was
so
unbelievably good.
So good.
So good.
Yeah. Like that's one of those movies where I can go back and just be like, yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. 2 hours of my life being gone to watch this movie, But yeah, anyway, that was just my whole thing about Karate Kid with my dad. Anyway,
But you did not watch the Goonies.
I did not. No, I've
No.
never seen it. I don't plan on watching it. Same with Ghostbuster. Didn't care about it. Not gonna watch it.
That was one that again, 1985. Ghostbusters was huge. That was another song on the radio.
Who are you gonna
1984.
call?
84. Okay, yeah. And
Ray Parker Jr.,
Yeah.
famous song.
Also Huey Lewis, but that's another podcast we can get
Is
into.
Ghostbuster inspired by that thing from Luigi Mansion?
I think you're
Jeez, oh man.
I think that's obscure and you're out of order. I get the reference kind of in context, but I actually
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about, but I'm going to pretend I do and then say that's
Luigi
out of
is
order.
essentially just a Ghostbuster in Luigi Mansion. That's all it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He
mean-
he has the vacuum and everything where he suck up the ghost.
It's such a man. Ghostbusters. This one, I think me and Brian are going to argue. You should go watch Ghostbusters. It's
Well, I loved that movie. And then when I rewatched it with my kids, it didn't have the same. I mean, it had nostalgia value, but it wasn't as epic as my memory of it was.
it's one of those.
But no, but
it's-
hey, if you loved it, that's awesome. Because
it's a comedy movie at heart, which people
Yeah.
don't
you
remember.
got comedic geniuses. What are you talking? You got Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray.
But
and-
most people feel like if I initially just think of Ghostbusters, it's an action movie.
That's what I assume it was, right?
But it's low key.
Right.
I mean, underlying it is a comedy movie to the point where, like, one of the famous lines from Ghostbusters is at the beginning when they're in the library and they're going around there searching for a ghost, and he goes, "Listen,
I
you,
smell.
you smell something?"
Listen. You smell something?
And he's
Bill
like, "Why do
Murray.
I need to be quiet to smell?"
Yeah.
oh, I just realized the joke.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
smell
fact
something.
that Dan Aykroyd gets blown by a ghost just in the middle of the movie, like, oh, they're Ghostbusters, and then all the supernatural activity starts happening.
I didn't take
And
it as
he
I didn't
just-
take it that graphically. I just felt that he was feeling some good vibrations from the ghost.
Oh, wow.
His
He was getting
pants
head
get
from a ghost?
unbuckled.
That's
Oh,
hilarious.
that's
Sheets come
true, that's
down,
true.
And he goes cross-eyed. It's
Yeah, no, that's
not
true.
a far line
I
to
was-
jump over.
I was a
Oh,
10-year-old
that's
child.
funny.
I did not. I don't think I fully figured that out as a 10-year-old child. It was implied, but
Oh,
yeah.
heavily. It's
Okay. Well, there we
So-
go. We added to Winston's watch list. 'cause
Okay,
I
so
would
are
like
the
to see-
newer like Ghostbuster movies, are those comedies still, or are they like just action?
I think they're
adventure
taking
thing?
themselves a little more seriously.
They're all
Okay.
there's a new one coming out.
Yeah, that's what I mean with
Afterlife was pretty good, I thought.
I didn't watch
That's
that.
the one with
that
Paul
was
Rudd.
That's the first of the reboot.
Right.
The
Okay, so
the
then this
one
is
We're not
second
counting
one,
the
yeah.
all women one with Melissa McCarthy in them, right?
and
Okay.
nobody else does either for
But
good
that
reason.
was, but if anything,
not even the
but
girls
here's
that
the
were in
thing.
it.
But here's the thing. If anything, that's the best. That's the best reboot because it was actually funny, right? It was a comedy.
It
didn't
was
take
not
itself se-
funny.
Oh,
No,
it
that's
wasn't
part of
funny?
the problem
Oh, never
too.
mind.
It was not a good movie.
Yeah.
It
You watched
wasn't.
that one
Fair
too?
enough.
I didn't watch the new one.
I didn't realize like I'm as big of a Ghostbusters fan as I'm making myself out to be. But
I mean, I love that. I actually had a T-shirt that had the ghost. You know, the
The logo,
ghosts.
yeah.
yeah. I was
as a
I was walking around with that T-shirt.
as a very small child, I had a Ghostbusters jumpsuit.
Oh,
Like I had the
nice.
tan one-piece jumpsuit with a
That's
big
sick.
Ghostbusters patch on the back. It was
Did you watch the
awesome.
cartoon?
I did watch the cartoon.
When did that start?
Ghostbusters
Cody, I think
cartoon.
we're finding out you're actually a Ghostbuster fan at this
I
point.
think so.
Clearly.
Now here's where we're splitting hairs because there was a 1986 Ghostbusters cartoon that was 2 men and a gorilla.
What?
So the Ghostbusters cartoon predates the movie The Ghostbusters. So they made this cartoon and then
What year did you say?
86.
1986. So
Okay,
then the
first
movie comes
was
out.
84.
Oh.
The first
Okay, no, hold on.
Ghostbusters 2 was
It was a 70s,
89.
1976.
Oh,
1976 was
okay.
the Ghostbusters. What we say, 84, 85?
84 is the actual
The movie.
first
And then 1986 is the cartoon, which there were naming right issues and lawsuits that happened. So that's why if you go look for this, the cartoon based off the movies is called The Real Ghostbusters and not just the Ghostbusters because
the original
naming rights.
Ghostbuster. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Man, this episode's a lot of me like pushing my non-existent glasses up my nose and going, well, let me tell you about it and how this really went.
Actually,
Yeah.
no. So let me ask this. So there was multiple. Was it a trilogy for the original?
It was just
Ghostbusters?
2.
Okay,
Just
so
2.
was it
Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
was the second one good, or was it one of those like Jurassic Park situations?
Second one.
I liked
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I liked it. A lot of people don't.
It's stupid, but I saw it in the theaters, and it's pretty bad.
It's
but
better than some sequels. It's better than Gremlins 2.
It's honestly, in retrospect, when I watched Elf, I was like, this reminds me of Ghostbusters. Basically, New York City's got such a bad vibe that they need to lift the spirits of the entire city that then radiates the weird, funky slime rolling beneath New York City with positive vibes. But the fact that they use Your Love is Lifting Me Higher, right?
Is that the one with the giant marshmallow man walking around?
No, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is the first one. The second one has this emotional reaction ooze that they find in the sewers that if you're angry like a lot of New Yorkers stereotypically, then it has a bad effect. But in order to...
It's Jackie Wilson, by the way.
Was it same cast and crew and everything, or was it?
It was the same main cast.
Okay.
Sigourney Weaver even comes back for the second one. She has a baby now that is trying to be taken over by a demon in a painting.
Right, not named Zool though. But yeah, they did get all of the original people, and that's why the recent one looks good because they even have Annie Potts coming back.
What was it? Vigo the Carpathian.
Okay, maybe
what a great painting too. And the baby gets possessed by Vigo, who's trying to make it back in this world, and they're fighting that, and then they're using the ooze to help fight it, and then they use the ooze and bring the Statue of Liberty to life.
Yeah,
and
the secret
pull
of
the Statue of Liberty at the end.
It's bad.
wild.
See, Tony, as he's saying it aloud, it's like, yeah, okay, this. I may have enjoyed it, but I'm not trying to tell you it's great.
I'll say
That's
I'll
exactly
say, I'll maybe add that to my watch list actually as something I would watch because I'm like
watch both of them.
Both of them back to
First
back.
one,
Yeah, no
good.
double feature.
Second one, take it or leave it.
as an 80s drive-in movie duo.
Yeah.
When I just realized as that came out of my mouth because drive-in movie is an old-timey thing.
I was gonna say
you know what I mean when I say
movie, but I've never experienced it.
I've never been to a drive-in.
Yeah, I always want to, but here's my thing. I feel like it's uncomfortable. I don't know if that's just me. I feel like
car.
Right, but it's just
you either sit in your car or you bring a lawn chair. You sit out in front.
But context. Think about it now. When you go to the movies, you can sit in an actual recliner. You've got your very own lazy boy lounger that you can kick your feet up. So no, you're sitting in your car. It is the equivalent of driving through a drive-through and then eating your food in your car. That's what it's like.
How do you get the sound for the movies?
So when you go in, you buy your ticket. If you go to a nice drive-in, then they only charge you by the car full. So if you can shove more people in your car, you're getting a better discount.
Yeah.
You can bring whatever and how much food you want in, although they do have a concession stand. So that's another nice thing. It's just like you want to bring 5 pizzas in for the movie, you can absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah.
But whenever you go in, they give you a radio station frequency.
Right.
They have a low frequency broadcast that you tune into that station and you get the movie audio through your car.
Or
Ah.
they also had some where you would
Old
pull
school.
up. Yeah, and you'd have there was like a speaker box that you would then grab
Oh.
and place it on like your windows, windowsill, and then tune
Roll
that
down your
in.
window and clip
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on the door.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like you're,
I kind of want to go to one. Yeah, I always wanted to go to one.
There's one south of the city that's still operating.
Yeah, but it's far as hell. Like,
Yeah.
It is far.
It's,
It
is
is
it-
far.
Yeah, the Starlight Drive-In in
Yeah, that's the one.
South Atlanta. Seems
And
to
that
be
one's
hanging
fascinating.
on.
It's a multiplex drive-in.
Oh,
So they have
really?
more than one screen, so which you could park facing different directions and see different movies.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
I want to
I love-
convince
I
my
love a good
girlfriend to
drive-in.
go. I want to convince my girlfriend to go, but I'm like, she's not gonna want to drive all the way south of the city to go
I mean,
watch a
Yeah.
movie in a
you're
car.
you're going for you're going for the experience of going to a drive-in movie. It is
It's a
not.
nostalgia thing. It's nice to be
Yeah.
able to actually get a double feature.
Yeah.
You
Oh, that's right. You do get to see two movies. Yeah.
Oh, really?
we talked
For the-
we talked B-sides before on records.
Yeah.
That's where the term B, like a B horror movie,
Oh, right. Yeah.
because it was the second feature.
Right. I thought
Yeah.
B horror movie was the movies they played before a big movie was played, like a good movie was played.
Well, not usually. It was usually the second one. So they would pair things together where they
Ah.
would pair a big name movie with this other kind of schlocky one.
Yeah.
Say, hey, if you buy a ticket, then the ticket sales are going towards both of these movies. Everyone's
Mm.
coming to see the first one. And even if you don't stay towards the second, it's getting some of the revenue from that.
And that's why I thought like it would be the first movie, because it's like, oh, you want to watch a good movie, you're gonna have to watch a shitty one first.
No,
You know what I mean?
you watch the
The-
first one and if people leave, they don't care.
Gotcha.
People either fell asleep, left, or drive-ins were big with teenagers. You were
they were
fogging up
yeah.
the windows during the second
Yeah.
movie. You were,
Yeah,
yeah,
they were Titanicing it up. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
so
that's-
so to fully date myself, and then I will ask Tony, the last movie that I don't think I went to more than a couple drive-ins, but the last movie that I saw at the drive-in was The Rocketeer.
Ooh, good movie.
Rocketeer. Sound familiar?
Disney movie, very Art Deco. It's not a good story, but visually great.
It was it
Oh
was
yeah,
very
no,
cool.
he's freaking cool. This is yeah, I've seen this on HBO as a kid.
Really? Okay, yeah, 1991 is when The Rocketeer came out. So that
Okay.
was the last time I think I went to the drive-in. What about you, Tony?
Boy, I would have went to the drive-in.
It was a double
It'd have
feature, so I
been-
don't remember what the other movie was, but you always did get two movies though, which was nice.
It would have been in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Really?
There was a couple
What did you see?
drive-ins that were still operating up in Pennsylvania. I couldn't tell you what I saw. I did always enjoy the occasional drive-in experience.
Well,
And the
right
Rocketeer looked
right
cool.
now what's playing at the Starlight Drive-In south of Atlanta is let's see, Argyle is playing, which looks like a pretty cool.
It's actually pretty terrible. It's like
Is it?
36% rating right now. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I guess I have not checked my Rotten Tomatoes. As we've established, I'm about 3 to 4 days behind media and internet news.
Oh, they got the musical Mean Girls going. Oh, so this place is cool because they actually show movie that is being released in theater at the same time.
Yeah,
Yes, they're trying to stay relevant. Yeah, they're trying to stay
Oh,
relevant.
okay.
It's a
Although
dying-
I'll say
it's a-
this, current movies, great. If I don't see a freaking dancing hot dog intermission cartoon between movies, I'm gonna be pissed. All I
Let's
want is
all
a
go to
freaking
the
we're
lobby.
Let's
Yeah.
all go to. If I don't see a dancing freaking hot dog,
Yeah.
we got problems. Driving.
Does Winston know that song? I mean, obviously you
No.
and I have. Oh,
Never heard of
man.
it.
So we had to hear it in be regular movies too, because I didn't go to enough drive-ins to have that memorized. So let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, right? I mean, that's
a freaking cup of soda and a hot dog and a
they're all
box of-
dancing.
They're all dancing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
They're dancing to
No,
on their way
That's
to the
how that's
lobby.
how the theaters are making their money, is by way overpricing popcorn and stuff.
Hey,
Yeah,
they're not
speaking
making
of
money.
insane.
popcorn, have you guys seen the new popcorn buckets for Dune 2?
That's going viral. Yeah, the big The
It's a
big like
flashlight.
rubber,
That's all
big-
it is.
the big rubber anus that you have to stick your whole arm to get your popcorn.
Someone,
Oh,
someone
you
on
didn't
Twitter said, on Twitter said, I'm gonna be gooning into my
Yeah, bring it back. Yeah, boy, it just looks like a mess.
How did
Yeah.
Like
nobody think of
it's
that?
buttered popcorn on all the weird rubber stuff on it.
Yeah. If you haven't
Oh.
seen it, if you want to know, you probably don't. They tried to get ultra creative. I found it funny that they came up with the Dune 2 because I think I saw the original one in the 80s. And so you see the remake and you're like, wow, this looks way more realistic than the, sand
Yeah, it's like
puppets.
Tron, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah. I never got around to seeing it, and anybody that did see it was like, "Yeah, it was freaking boring." Like,
Yeah, no,
like,
I
it
think
was,
it's
it
boring.
was long and it
The
was
original
boring.
Dune became a cult classic where it's got a very strong following for
Yeah.
the people that do enjoy it.
Yeah,
and
Brian,
it's
you
based
just
off
piss
of
off half of our audience. Come
I
on.
don't know that it's that big. I
Based
think
off
it's
of a
smaller.
book
It's a
that's-
smaller following than that.
it's based off what is now also a classic sci-fi book.
People said Dune was
But-
the inspiration for Star Wars. Is that true?
No,
Okay, yeah. I
not
don't
at
know
all.
who said that, but
They were dumb.
It
Whoever
was my
said it,
drunken roommate one night. We got home from the bars, and I told him he was full of crap.
Ryan, you do realize that the new Dune, first of all, it's only the first half of the story. It's not the entire.
Dune 2 is the first half.
No, Dune that came out. It's been
Years ago.
almost 8. How long?
So the new Dune.
Dune 2 is just the
Dune
second
2.
half of the story
no, I
because
think Brian
it's more
realized-
book accurate. So in order to get all of the information in, they split it into 2, but they did the first one to see if there was any interest before they announced doing a second one.
So we're
instead
talking
of-
about Timothy Chalamet Dune, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Original Dune was a condensed version of the story.
Of the entire book.
Of the
right?
entire book, and it had to leave a bunch of stuff out.
Okay,
which
so
maybe
new-
that wasn't why it was well received.
I think
because
this
confusing.
Dune is gonna be a 3-parter, Tony.
Is it
Of
okay?
course.
Yeah.
We love trilogies.
Right.
Yeah, you can blame
More
Star
money,
Wars for that
yeah.
one.
Yes, exactly. I mean, but you got a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I mean that makes sense why there's trilogies
Three
are
act
good.
story.
So-
That's true.
Yeah,
It is confirmed that it is gonna be a trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't see that one either. Did you watch the first one? Did anyone
It's
here
a
watch the first
it's a
one?
story that has just skipped past me. I've not seen
Okay,
or
so
read
you
any
didn't
of
see it either. I attempted to watch it because the guy that directed it, Denis Villeneuve, he directed Blade Runner,
Mm-hmm.
which
New
to
one,
me
old
is
one?
also no, the new one, which to me is also a snooze fest that I couldn't get through. I tried to watch it. It sucks. I couldn't get through it. I know I'm pissing off a lot of people, and even my friends who are film bros are just like, what the fuck, dude? How did you not like 2049, dude? That was such a good movie. I'm like, visually speaking, it's amazing. It's beautiful. I love the coloring. I couldn't care less about it. Like, I didn't care
Gotcha.
about the story at all. But
I
that
do
one
like
is,
to know
yeah.
that all of Winston's film bros sound like surfers. I love that. Bro.
Yeah, bro, what the frick, man?
Did you watch
They're
the
more
first one,
frat
though?
boys. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Winston's taking people up. I don't like Blade Runner. I don't like the Goonies. Brian, what's your controversial take to get him mad at you? Let's round it out.
What film does everybody love that I'm like, this is garbage?
I feel like Brian's gonna say like Jurassic Park or something.
No, I thought Jurassic Park was fantastic.
Okay, so
I
what
like
would,
that.
Yeah, what would you say is the movie that you don't like?
I mean, my movie going experiences are really limited as far as
It's okay
lately,
if you can count movies you watch with your kids if you want, if that helps.
I've liked most of those. Let me think. I'm trying to think if there is there a controversial take. Honestly though, rewatching some of the nostalgia movies that's really kind of it's a weird thing. You
But
know,
like no,
how they
but
hold
like
up.
referring to like classic like movies that everyone loved, you just don't like. Like I'm talking Jaws, I'm talking Pulp Fiction, I'm talking Scarface, stuff like that.
I've told you the classics. I was a bit dismayed with Gone with the Wind,
Yeah.
Casablanca. That was another one that I
Holy
missed.
shit, man, those
Uh,
are old. Like me and Tony was like, yeah, movies from like the 80s, 2000. You're like, yeah, movies that Winston grandparents really love.
I really don't. I mean, I'm trying to think what are humongous movies. I just watched La La Land not that long ago.
Did you like that one?
I think I share the opinion of most that it's a really good story, and then like I think people nowadays, you watch that, you want it to work out. You want the happy ending.
Yeah.
You want the storybook ending, and you're like, what the heck, man? It's
Yeah.
kind of like, it's a little disappointing in that respect, but I also think that's perspective, because I think La La Land came out in 2006, and that was considered different and unexpected. And I think now everybody's.
2016.
I was gonna say
2016. Not
I'm sorry,
2006.
2016, not
Yeah.
2006. I forgot the one. I forgot to carry the 10.
You said 2006. Me and Tony both raised our eyebrows like,
I graduated high school in 2006. Wasn't 2006.
Sorry, man. The decades, you can throw one or two in there and you don't really notice it. It's 16.
You're
6.
getting old, Brian. That's all
Yeah.
that is. It's early onset of getting old. Yeah.
But no, I did like that though. I thought it
Right.
was good. Okay, movie that I hate. Oh my gosh.
Come on, man.
Actually, you know what? The Lord of the Rings. I know.
Get out of here. You knocked that off. No.
It's so funny.
There's no way, Brian. There's no freaking way. There's no way.
I'm just saying that
Hey, when you were talking about, oh, what can I say to tick people off? I'm the people.
you shut your mouth. So let me clarify at least to say that I didn't.
Brian's gonna be like, let me. You
Okay.
know what? I'm wrong. I hate the original Star Wars trilogy.
No, I have a better example now that I've had a second to think about it, but it is a similar
Yeah,
example.
you take that back.
I am in no means saying that the Lord of the Rings trilogy sucked. I'm just saying that at the time, people were losing their mind like it was the greatest film ever put on screen. And I just thought it was fine. You know, again, that might have been the overhyping that Tony's giving me the stink eye.
Killing me.
So let me just say that about that one, and then go to one that's actually probably a more appropriate answer to this question, and that is the Avatar movie. But again,
okay. Yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
so I saw both Avatar movies. Tony's still mad.
No, listen. I haven't seen the second one. The first one for sure, one of the highest grossing film of all time. You can ask anybody. Name two characters.
What it was
Name
about?
two
Yeah.
characters. Name two characters from that movie. The movie that everybody spent money to see. Highest grossing film in history. Name two characters. Nobody can do it.
Yeah, one of them was
That's
Tinky
so
Winky,
funny
right?
because
Isn't that one
that
of the
was-
characters?
Is it
Jake
Sully? Jake
Jake
Sully.
Sully.
That's right. Yeah, Sully. Yeah. It's so funny you said that because when my friends were trying to convince me to go watch Way of Water, the second movie, I'm like, I'm not gonna go watch that piece of shit movie. And they're like, why not? I'm like, name one thing that happened in the original movie, and nobody.
There was a mech with a giant sword knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And
cool.
they're like, but the original is so good. I'm like, oh, you mean Pocahontas with blue people? Is that
Oh,
what
you mean Fern Gully?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you guys, we are ruining the environment. Stop it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But again,
All right.
though, the Avatar, the first one, I watched way after the initial hype. And again, I mean, I had people that I respected or at least trusted or bought their opinion on movies that came back from that were like, it was amazing. It was so good. And so then I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is very heavy handed, but it's pretty cool looking visually.
It's so funny you said that. I'll tell you, like, personal experience. My girlfriend and her siblings loves Avatar, like loves it. I've never seen anyone that they're over when I came over to her house to hang out with her family. They were talking about, yeah, Winston, when is Avatar 3 coming out? When is the fourth one coming out? I think that's next year, right? I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't think it's next year. And I'm just like, they haven't even started writing it or filming it. I've never seen anyone that interested in Avatar. I've never met anyone else that goes, "When's the next Avatar coming out?" Like, you know,
that is true.
yeah.
Disney's
but yeah,
Animal Kingdom has helped my love of the movies.
Okay,
That's
and
that's fair.
again, it's not, but I will change my infuriating answer about the Lord of the Rings.
It's
and
okay,
make it-
Brian. You can say Lord of the Rings. I didn't like it either.
I didn't not like it, but it
I
was
couldn't
like
get into it. Yeah.
the hype
But
was,
I will say I couldn't watch Lord of the Rings, but I was able to sit and watch all three Hobbits movie.
Shut up. See now,
What is
okay.
wrong with you?
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right?
I've
Yeah,
not
like-
read any of these things. From what I know, Tony's opinion is the correct one.
Again, the Lord of the Rings is what I got in trouble in high school for reading.
Right.
So
I don't
And-
know. I guess it's because Lord of the Rings was a lot older, so the visual effects didn't hold. But it was like
they
Hobbit,
absolutely do. But
do they?
continue.
I mean, anyway, Kate Blanchett
You're
in the
wrong
movie.
there.
I hate her in the movie because she scarred me once. Like I fell asleep watching the first movie, and then I woke up to her screaming in my face, and then like
Scary scene.
yeah. So then I'm now like I have a hatred for Lord of the Rings because of Kate Blanchett. So you can thank her for that.
But that's a you problem.
Yeah, I guess, but like I didn't have a white hair
Kate
woman
Blanchett problem.
screaming. Yeah, I didn't have a white hair woman screaming in my face when I was watching A Desolation of Smog or Battle of the Five Armies. That was freaking sick, man. They were fighting stuff, you know? But
There's so much faff in that movie.
What?
The children's
Faff?
it's just
Faff?
just
What's faff?
garbage and filler.
oh,
It's just
Faff?
extra. Faff.
Faff.
fab? Does that stand for anything, or is it just a word?
Just a
Oh,
Oh,
anyway,
faff.
I
continue.
thought you said
It's a children.
gaff, garbage, and filler. Faff
Oh.
Faff.
is farbage and filler.
No, like The Hobbit is a children's story.
Yeah,
And it's a nice, good, quick read.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody
It's
told me
not-
that, like, yeah, they
yeah,
made
the
two books out of
extra-
what was one story,
Well, they made
or two movies
Three-
out of what was one
they made
book.
three movies out
yeah.
of what
it's a
should have been one
trilogy.
story.
Yeah, he's going on
Yeah.
an adventure, and then there's a dragon, and they met
Right,
Legolas,
and then they got Smog in Los Angeles. I'm not sure what.
Maybe that's why I like it, because it's a children's movie, right? I don't know.
There's so much extra crap in the movies that shouldn't be there because it's not in the books.
yeah,
It's
You
one
read the
thing for
books.
you to take the book and have to cut stuff out, but to take a book and add things,
yeah.
it doesn't work.
Okay, so we know
Anyway,
Tony's
yeah.
feelings on that. Yeah.
Mm.
Anywho,
Anywho, yeah.
right?
Hey,
Yeah.
before I have an aneurysm here,
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up.
Is it time?
Yes,
Oh my goodness,
Okay,
it
yeah,
is.
that was quick,
we
yeah.
are overtime.
Yeah.
Overtime.
We got
Overtime,
overtime
OT.
on this one. So thanks for
Thanks.
listening. Boy, if you like this nonsense, tell a friend. Piss somebody else off with our opinions, I guess.
Lord of the
Rate and
Rings fans.
subscribe wherever you're listening. If you want to correct us on a movie that we should like and we don't, send us an
Send an
email
email.
at podcastxyzxwhyz@gmail.com. You can also visit us on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to listen to us on YouTube, you can do that over there. Check out the merch. Rep your friends here in the podcast. You can find the store. You can find links for everything at our home on the web, podcastxyz.podbean.com. And with that, we will see everybody next time.
See ya.
See you, everybody.